when I started blindly following my own judgment, not looking at other people for lessons, not learning from people around me, my family, my friends, my ex-friends, the people I used to be around, an overall perspective of people, I would always fall into the same pain, the same sadness that they had fell into. I'd always fall into pain, sadness that I could have probably avoided if I was smart and looked at other people. And the message overall in this video is look and learn from other people's mistakes and take note of what they've done wrong and how you could better that situation. And it's easier said than done overall with this, because a lot of times you don't truly feel the same pain and sadness from the effect like they do, and you're bound not to, because it's not you. You know, you're not going to be able to deal with it the same way. But what you can do is take a few lessons from what they've done and what they've been through in order to better you, in order to take note, and in order for you to allow yourself to be better and be a better version of yourself. Because there's a lot of things you can avoid if you look at other people. Maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's drugs, maybe it's this job, maybe it's this thing, maybe it's this cycle of negativity that they're falling into. You can look at a lot of areas that these people's been through, and you can actually use that to your advantage and use that to better you, and almost take it as a lesson for yourself and understand, oh, this person's been through this thing, they've got addicted to that vice, they are consistently using that as a vice to help them, and this is what I've had to use it with, especially with people with like drugs and alcohol and this stuff. And this is why I'm very wary of doing stuff like that now. I only drink every now and again, and it ain't even much when I drink. I look at people in my life who have got that as a crutch now. I know people in my life who's got marijuana as a crutch, alcohol as a crutch. I had old people in my life who used to have cocaine as a crutch. And you realise that it's a negative cycle overall in yourself. It's a negative cycle if you fall into that same sadness and that same pain. Because if you ask them, every time, 9 times out of 10, they don't want to be doing that thing. They don't want to be doing them drugs. They don't want to be drinking that alcohol. They don't want to be sniffing that coke. And this is unfiltered. This is 100% unfiltered, but it's the reality of this world. You'll find people who have crutches on certain things. Maybe it's cigarettes. And overall, every time you ask someone like this, they don't want to be doing it. And it comes from a standpoint of pain, that they consistently do it, or wanting to feel that high again. And if you don't learn from their lessons with things like that, maybe it's money problems, there's all different areas, you will fall into the same traps that they have. You may get addicted to the same crutch, because it probably isn't hard to get addicted to things. Especially with me. I've been essentially addicted to alcohol before, and it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you overall, and you just feel terrible, you feel sluggish, you feel like you're relying on something. And it wasn't for a long period of time, probably like 2 months, but overall, you understand that these things do not serve you overall, in a sense. But if you look from a standpoint of people in your life and what they're doing, the actions they're taking, maybe they're using food as a crutch as well, because binge eating's a real thing, comfort eating's a real thing. You can understand that you can learn from their situations, their scenarios, what they've been through, and use that to your advantage. Use that to not fall into the same trap. And you can do this from all different perspectives: a business perspective, a YouTube perspective, a life perspective, a job perspective, a spiritual perspective. You can use it from all different perspectives overall. But you're going to be a lot better off if you look at people when something goes wrong in their life and you take the lesson from what's went wrong in their life. You can use that as an actual thing to help you, an actual lesson to help you. Oh, this thing's happened to them. How do I avoid what's happened to them? How do I avoid what's happened to them? How do I avoid it? Okay, I can do this thing, this thing, this thing. How do I avoid falling into the trap of alcohol? I've got to be disciplined with my mindset. I've got to be disciplined and say, I'm not going to go too mad with it. I'm not going to use that as a crutch to better me. If I feel pain, if I feel sadness, I'm not going to use that to cure my sadness or my pain. I'm going to use my mind. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to understand where it's coming from. I'm going to take full brunt of it, and I'm going to understand how to better that situation. And then over time, you build into a habit of getting over that situation, that scenario in a better light. But you can have the opposite perspective as well, where you use that habit and you use that thing to deal with your pain. A negative habit, a negative thing to deal with your pain. And it's easy to fall into. It's easy to fall into. I know tons of people who smoke weed, do drugs, drink alcohol, and they use that as a crutch. I don't know what's going on with the weather, but fucking hell. And they use that as a crutch. They use that, and they don't even overall understand too much what they're doing it now. It's because it's such a habit in themselves, and it makes them feel a little bit of momentarily pleasure It doesn't solve their issues, but it helps them a little bit, so they still do it. But then when you address your issues directly and you look at other people and understand their pain and their sadness, where it's coming from, how it's happened and what situations have happened, and that's what I tried to do overall, you're a lot better off in an overall sense in your life. You're a lot better off in an overall sense in you, and you're going to be a lot more in a positive position than them over time, because you're going to learn from their lessons, and therefore you're going to be more hesitant when you're doing these things that they're doing, or maybe when you're doing these vices that they're doing, and you're going to use that to your advantage to not get too addicted to it. You're going to use their lessons of fucking up to not do the same mistakes that they've done, you know? And it's easy to blindly follow your own mind and the short-term pleasure of now. It's easy to do that. It's easy to follow your mind and the short-term pleasure of now. But it's hard to say, no, I'm going to look at what other people's done and how other people's been through this, how other people's reacted to this, and use their advice that they're giving from a place of experience to help me and to better me. It's hard to say that. It's hard to say that, but a lot of times it's better someone else experiencing it and you learning from it, you saving yourself that pain, that hassle, that mental torment, and using their pain, their sadness as a lesson to help you, to better you, to avoid that, than you going through it and you crushing yourself and ruining a lot of periods of your life, a lot of sad periods of your life. And it's not going to ruin you in a sense, because you're going to grow from it anyway, but it's going to take a bit of time of you off that path. And it's so easy to think, oh no, this is different with me, this is different with me, this is different with me. But you find with a lot of older people and a lot of people who have been through situations and hardship and pain and all these different areas, you find a lot of situations are kind of similar, because we're not all that different really. We're not all that different. We do the same things pretty much all the time. We all do the same things for fun, same things for, even in a self-improvement sense, we all do the same things for fun, like meditation and all this shit. If you're an alcoholic, you go out, you drink. If you're a druggie, you go out, do cocaine. A lot of people love going out and doing that, and I love doing it every now and again as well. So we're not all that different anyway. So why would you think your situation is so different to someone you know? Why would you think that? Is it ego? Is it coming out of a place of desperation? I don't know. But it's important to realise that overall, and it's important to understand that overall. And I want you lot to get some value out of this video, and remember to learn from other people's mistakes, not your own. Look at other people's mistakes and what they made, where they're putting their energy, what's not solving their own life, what's not helping them, what's not enriching their life. Look at that and use that to your advantage. Use that to better you. Use that to make you feel happy and grateful in yourself in the future tense, and use that as a positive thing that helps you, not a negative thing that helps you, because that's going to have the true positive effect on you and make you feel actual positive in your life and actual grateful for your overall life in a sense, in the future tense. And you're going to avoid the mistakes, leaving the pain out of it for you, the sadness out of it for you, the full brunt of the sadness and the pain that they're feeling for you. And you're going to look at the positive things that you could do for yourself, and you're going to use their pain to your advantage, using it to better you and using it to help you and get you more successful over time, and get you more successful quicker. And that's the message in this video. I hope you lot got a lot of value in this video. Like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for all love recently. Means the world. Thank you.